Hey everyone, this is Kartik. Welcome back to Codolearn. Guys, in the last video of our JavaScript end-to-end course tutorial, we have discussed about callback and we have already discussed about callback hell, and I already created a short about that. And in this video, we are going to discuss about JavaScript promises. So before getting late, let's get straight into our amazing tutorial. But guys, before getting into our tutorial, make sure that you have just smashed the subscribe button and don't forget to follow me on Instagram. So anyways, let's get straight into our amazing tutorial. So guys, first of all, let me open my Visual Studio Code, and here we have to create a folder and we have to name it as promises, and inside that we have to create a file index.html. Then here we have to add a boilerplate, and here guys, let's make it as promises, and here let's add a script tag and hold up for a second, take a deep breath, and now let's discuss about what promises in JavaScript actually is. So guys, a promise is a great way to handle asynchronous operations in JavaScript. It is used to find out if the asynchronous operation is successfully completed or not. There are three stages in JavaScript, in promises in JavaScript. The first one is pending, the second one is not rejected, the second one is fulfilled, and the third one is rejected. So guys, a promise, you have to keep this in your mind that a promise always starts in a pending state. That means the process is not complete. If the operation is successful, the process ends in a fulfilled state, and if an error occurs, the process ends in a rejected state. So guys, I know you all are wondering, hey Kartik, you already explain all about the promises, and now let's tell us about how we can create it. So guys, for creating it, we have to use a constructor which named is promise constructor. So for that, here we have to create a let promise is equal to new promise, something like this, and here we have to create a function, and that function takes two parameters, which is resolve and the second one is reject, something like this, and then we are good to go. So guys, this is how we create promises in JavaScript. So guys, if you look closer, so the promise constructor takes a function as a parameter, and that function also accepts two functions, which is resolve and reject. If the promise returns successfully, the resolve function is called, and if an error occurs, the reject function is called. So guys, now let's create a fully fledged example using promises. So for that, we have to create const count is equal to true, something like this, true. Then here let's add let count value, let count value to be here is equal to new promise, something like this, promise, and here we have to create a function, and then we have to pass two parameters, resolve and reject, something like this, and inside that we have to use some conditions. So obviously we have to use conditional statements, and yes, conditional statements is if else, obviously. So here we have to add if count is true, we have to do resolve, something like this, resolve, and here we have to do there is a count value, and if it is not, we have to use else, and we have to use reject, something like this, there is no count value, something like this. So guys, after that, here we have to do console.log, and here we have to add count value, something like this, control S to save, count value, something like this. And guys, now let me copy the file path, and in the browser open it and paste and inspect, and in the console here you can see there is something called promise. So if I click on this drop down, so here you can see guys, prototype is promise state is fulfilled, there is a count value here. So guys, if I make this false, something like this, and now if you see, so here you can see promise rejected, there is no count value, and if I make this true again, so you will see promise fulfilled, there is a count value. So guys, in the program which we have created, a promise object is created that takes two functions, which is resolve and reject. Resolve is used if the process is successful, and reject is used when an error occurs in the promise statement. The promise is resolved if the value of count is true. So guys, I hope you understand promises in JavaScript, and in the next tutorial we are going to discuss about more. So for that, bye bye, see you later, and take care.